What's going on, guys? Sneezing Whistle here, and I've got a great video for you today that's going to teach you a little bit more about Twitch extensions. Let's get into it. So I recently received this question on one of my previous videos talking about ads. What are extensions and how do you get paid through those? So very simply, extensions are just an extension of your Twitch stream in the form of some sort of viewer engaged activity to help kind of set your stream apart from other people's streams for a better viewing experience. Where do you find those? Let me show you. All right, so you're going to want to go into your creator dashboard, as you'll see here, and then scroll on down to where it says extensions on the left-hand side. When you're on the extensions homepage, you're going to be able to type in any kind of category or extension that you've heard of, maybe through a referral, or they have a whole list here that you can just kind of scroll through and discover yourself. Now, when you come onto this homepage for extensions, you'll see you can type in the actual search bar if you've heard of an extension that maybe a buddy of yours has used on their stream, or you can simply just kind of look down and kind of scroll through all the different ones they have. So I'll go over to mine, and on my extensions, you'll see I have these activated on the right-hand side. It's important to note that certain extensions only cap to a certain amount on your stream. For example, it's good to take note that on your Twitch stream, you have the following. You have 2 components, 1 overlay, and 3 panels available for you to use a Twitch extension for. As you'll see on the right-hand side of the ones I have activated, the left-hand column actually shows all the extensions that you may have looked into in the past, and then you might bring some in, you might bring some out, depending on what you're kind of feeling and how you're liking them. So you'll actually see that on the right-hand side, though, I have the following extensions that work best for me. They might be different for you, but I can actually share my experience with these extensions and why I like them so much. So you'll see I have Blerp for component 1, sound alerts for component 2, I have the Prime Gaming benefits reminder for my overlay, I have then down in the panels, meaning in the About You section, you have the Streamlabs merch store, you have a TimeoutWithBits extension, and you have the Viewer Attack extension, again, down in the panels below in your About You section. So I'll do a quick education from the hip on each of the extensions that I use, and I'll then actually share with you what they pay out. So Blerp is basically kind of similar to sound alerts and vice versa, if you're familiar with either or, where it's basically an on-screen audio file, normally, that is taking over your stream. So in Blerp's extension, you have basically a huge library of things that you can do as far as audio goes, from memes to quick little snippets of songs to even your own voice if you want to make it super customizable. You'll also notice that with Blerp, that isn't like sound alerts, Blerp also allows you to have something called a walk-on, meaning you can set it so that your viewers, when they join your stream, they don't even necessarily have to say hi or anything to make it known that they're there watching you, because their assigned walk-on sound will automatically go off when they join. Now, of course, you can actually change the settings so this doesn't happen, or you can change it to where maybe it goes off every 30 minutes, just as a friendly reminder to be like, hey, I have this cool little feature on Blerp. If you want your own personalized sound, go find a walk-on and I'll approve it for you. For example, for me, I do walk-ons for anyone who is a subscriber to me on Twitch, so that if someone who isn't a subscriber goes, oh, that's a cool little, sound bite that only pops up for that specific viewer, it may or may not encourage them or give them an extra little incentive to want to do so. Additionally, you can actually have through Blerp, it doesn't have to be about bits, where people will spend a specific amount of bits to play a sound, but also you can set it up for channel points too. Now for me, on Blerp, I like the feature because I don't do it for channel points. I have my own channel point kind of system set up of what I do through Tangia. That's a separate thing in and of itself. But through Blerp, what you can do there too is customize the actual price of each Blerp sound and its rating. So you'll kind of see here too on Blerp, you can actually even set the moderation level, if you will, as to what kind of sounds you want playing. So if you're like a family-friendly stream and you want to use this extension, you can simply set it to maybe rating G or PG. You know, it's just like a movie rating. If you want it to really have some maybe racy, sketchy sounds, you could set it to rated R, especially if you're more for the adult sort of viewership. Additionally, when you come to the settings, even on Blerp, you can offer a discount for those who might be a subscriber in your Twitch channel. You'll see here, for example, any one of my subscribers will get 50% off if they decide to use a Blerp sound at any point in time. So a sound that might be 75 bits to someone who isn't a sub will actually only be 39 bits to someone who is a sub. Now, when it comes to getting paid out through Blerp, Blerp is a website in and by itself. But because of this extension through Twitch, it gets a little confusing as to how the money is coming in and out. So with Blerp, people could go to blerp.com and buy Blerp sounds without actually having to use Twitch cheers or bits through the Twitch platform. Because keep in mind, a YouTuber or another platformer could use this same effect, but they just don't have an extension. So they'd have to do the long-handed version where they go through a specific URL. And you'll see here, for example, my Blerp wallet shows $14. So that means in the entire time that I've had Blerp, that means people of whomever have gone through the website organically, not the Twitch extension, but the website organically to spend money on Blerps that they used in my channel. So that's why some people will look at this and say, oh, you need at least $25 to actually get paid out. Well, 9 times out of 10, keep in mind, it says $25 payout threshold, but again, that's for the universal website itself. If you're on Twitch, you're most likely going to get people who are going to buy all of these sounds through Twitch bits, and because of that, that just goes into your regular kind of affiliate through Twitch payouts and what you get through Twitch extensions in that regard. So there's two actually different sources of income coming through there, but 90% of the time, you're going to be getting more or less a payout through Twitch. And that Twitch payout threshold, remember, is $50 if you're an affiliate. So once you hit the $50, then you'll get the payout, and this can help attribute to that. And you can even see that when you scroll down a little bit on the Blerp website, that it says right here, bit payouts are handled by Amazon Twitch, and you can view your earnings and payout amount from your Twitch dashboard. So they will actually combine all of your Blerp extension, like Twitch cheers and Twitch bits, with the other extensions you may or may not be using, like sound alerts. So now we're going to look at sound alerts, which is one of my personal favorite extensions because I've been using that since I ever started on Twitch back in 2020. All right, so this is the sound alerts website that you'll be redirected to if you try and activate this through your Twitch extensions page. So you'll come in here on your dashboard through sound alerts and you'll log in and get it linked accordingly. And similar to Blerp, this is more or less a sounds and a little bit of video extension. So in my situation, this is the very first extension I ever added to my Twitch channel because I loved the fact of hearing and creating sounds for something to be played on stream. So you'll see, you'll come actually into like your My Alerts page and you can have up to 30. Okay, so it's 30 different kind of sounds or video share or whatever you want to do that it allows for you to do. 30 of these can be for a monetary value or even a free value, but that's your max cap is 30 different sounds. And what you'll see too is that just kind of like on Blerp where you could actually offer maybe like a 50% discount if you have a subscriber, on sound alerts, you can actually make some of these sounds completely free if they're a subscriber. And you can see that right here under the settings, subscriber only, you can turn it on, turn it off. It's a really cool feature. Again, kind of incentivizes if you have a few of these sub-only sounds to where if a non-sub is looking and they're hearing something and they would love to partake in that, it might incentivize them on top of other things to drop you a sub. Now, something really important to keep in mind, though, with sound alerts is only a bit extension. So where Blerp, you could actually just organically go in and use real money to buy sounds for someone else's stream. For sound alerts, it is specific to Twitch and their bit extension. So when it comes to payouts, there's nothing you have to worry about through sound alerts because they just funnel all that stuff straight in through Twitch. However, as you'll kind of see here, it's cool because they'll still give you insights as to how well your channel does. For example, we're looking at mine from August 29th to September 28th. I have received 20,000 bits that came specifically through the sound alerts extension, which is pretty awesome. It's really cool too because it'll give you fun little things also like, oh, how many actual alerts were used through sound alerts in this 30-day time frame. And, you know, it was 20,000 bits, but 124 sounds were played to accumulate up to that. And it's really cool too because on sound alerts, it'll actually also show you like a leaderboard from the beginning of whenever you started up this extension. So it'll tell you all the names and how many bits they have dropped personally through the sound alerts extension, which actually could be very fun when it comes to maybe special recognition for these super loyal viewers who are just doing it to have a good time and vibe with you, and at the same time they're showing their support. All right, so that covers our two components on stream. Again, these two components are the first two things that a viewer will see on mobile, right kind of near the leaderboard section in the chat area. But then in addition, if they're on a desktop, these are the two component buttons that are smack dab right on your actual screen, your gameplay stream screen, that they can then interact with right then and there. I should make note that certain extensions on Twitch are already preset to whether they are only maybe used in an overlay, maybe they're only for components, maybe they're only for panels. Sometimes you're going to find an extension that you can't divvy up in all three. So you kind of got to play a shuffleboard game, if you will, if you have different extensions, but they're only limited to certain areas on the stream. So keep that in mind when you're looking for ones you want to use. So when it comes to an overlay, I personally kind of just go between two different types of overlay extensions for Twitch. One is this, that is the Prime Gaming Benefits Reminder. This is just a simple overlay that I feel like a lot of streamers should have if you are an affiliate already, especially, that it's just a simple reminder of letting a viewer know if they click on it, if you're on desktop, if they click on it, that they can use their Prime subscription on this channel. Because again, if you are an Amazon Prime member, then you already have a free sub to give out to whichever Twitch channel you choose. And you'll see that when you scroll down to the bottom here on the settings for this particular overlay, you can put it into any one of these 5 kind of allocated areas that are on your screen, especially if you are watching as a viewer through desktop. So super simple. Again, that's not an extension that you get paid through, right? Because it's just kind of reminding people to use your Prime sub. So I mean, you're getting paid through it potentially, but it's just, again, a reminder without it being too forceful with like a constant chat bot reminder that can get kind of obnoxious. But this is just a nice little, hey, in case you're sitting on one, remember you can use it here or anywhere else for that matter. And I know I actually also kind of explained that I use that in tandem with another overlay. And that overlay, though, is an interesting one that I recommend people maybe kind of get into. I have this new extension too called CrowdControl. Now, if you know anything for CrowdControl, CrowdControl is basically a mod operating system where for certain games that it works for, a viewer can affect what happens in the game itself through this specific extension called CrowdControl. And this is actually, believe it or not, another source of income for you as a streamer too, if you want it to be. When you activate the extension, you're going to be prompted to download the actual CrowdControl app, which you see on screen right here. To give you an example, I use it a lot of the times for Supermarket Simulator, and they have a list of games up here if you already own them. Again, this is for PC only. This isn't going to be compatible with console. So you would do this for PC games that you are interested in. And so if we look for Supermarket Simulator, right here, you'll be able to see an effect manager. And these are all the different effects that a viewer can play on stream in your game live to kind of mess with you or maybe help you. So for Supermarket Simulator, for example, you could do a lot of funny stuff. You can force customers to pay with cash only. You could slow the game down. You can speed the game up as far as, you know, quickness. You can be kind and give the player and or streamer rather $1,000 or $100. It's just a funny, great interactive kind of app and extension that your viewers can engage with and therefore stick around more too in your channel and really get to know you and the whole entire dynamic of your stream. Now getting right down into it with the payment style with this extension, because like I said, this can be another source of income for you as a streamer if you decide to use it appropriately. This is a two type of income revenue, if you will. For example, similar to Blerp, there is a way where people don't have to actually buy the CrowdControl coin that it is called in the app, but that they can use like money direct. To better explain all of this, honestly, let me find a stream that has CrowdControl to kind of give you a lowdown. All right, so I've actually brought up a random person stream who just so happens to be using CrowdControl. So a quick kind of selfless shout out to Grace Games, who is a partner on Twitch, who is currently utilizing CrowdControl while playing Resident Evil 2. And so as I mentioned, with that whole entire extension slash overlay, you'll see it in the upper left-hand corner up here, the little CrowdControl emblem. So you would click it as a viewer, you would click it, and up comes coins, and then you have your effects for all the effects that happen in the game, kind of like what I was speaking about with Supermarket Simulator. And then you also have the activity showing who did what. So you can actually keep track of which viewers are kind of maybe trolling or helping or what have you with the CrowdControl app. But simply, CrowdControl goes off of what are known as coins. So in this instance, for example, I can actually claim a few free coins for now, like 50 coins, and you'll see my balance shows 50. Now here's the thing, when it comes to this, you can actually go through the website direct and not the Twitch extension, but you can buy coins through like PayPal or MasterCard, and you don't have to use Twitch bits to do so. So that's where the two different sources of revenue come through, okay? So for example, if I didn't want to use this overlay and I wanted to use instead actually going to the actual website itself, I could go here to the actual URL, right? And here is where I can actually buy coins. Do you notice here how the money dollar difference versus here it says bits? So that's the big takeaway. So you could have a viewer who is still supporting you as the streamer, but if they want to go through the organic way, I call it, through the actual CrowdControl website, they would actually have to use a form of card payment or PayPal to collect these coins. All right. Versus on here, if you have a bit balance already, you can use bits right away immediately, and you can exchange bits for coins. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense to you. So you're either A, getting a source of revenue through organic sales to the CrowdControl app right here with real money, but because I clicked on this through her stream, she'll get the actual income and benefit of me buying these. Meaning if I buy these here, I can use all the coins somewhere else. I can go to a different stream, but because I used it off of her stream channel, she'll get the benefit. Then when you go back to here, again, if I were to buy like 250 bits, it'll actually pop up in her chat that someone has used 250 bits for exchange of the 250 coin, which will then go into her Twitch leaderboard as she received 250 bits. Hopefully that makes sense, and I kind of gave you a visual for it. So again, two different sources of revenue with CrowdControl. Organic CrowdControl website, Twitch straight up overlay. And now you'll see here when I go back to the actual, as a streamer, I'll go back to the CrowdControl app that as the streamer I downloaded, you can actually then go into your analytics and look at maybe your latest session, and it will actually give you detailed numbers as to how much you made during your last session. So it's loaded in, and right here is the perfect example. So you'll see at the top up here, it says the last time I used this was on September 23rd, and I played Supermarket Simulator. Within this session, this stream session or game session, right, they will tell me down below here my revenue breakdown. And the estimated revenue breakdown is pretty spot on. So you'll see Twitch revenue was $54 because 6,750 bits were spent on coin. There's a little bit of a split, remember, when you use extensions through Twitch for bits. I made $54 in revenue, okay? So this is $54 that goes towards that $50 threshold as a Twitch affiliate for a payout through Twitch. But now you'll see over here on the left-hand side, it says global coins, $6.16. This means that there are people who actually spent money, real money, for the coins, as I kind of showcased where you could use a credit card or a debit card or a PayPal and buy coins directly and not using Twitch bits or cheers to do so in exchange. So these are direct sales of global coins through CrowdControl that I received during this session, which is why you'll always look at this and be like, oh, $6.16, that's not that much. Well, you're right, it's not, but in reality, I'm never really expecting anyone to use global coins because I have that very convenient overlay on my Twitch stream where they can do it that way. But the global coin thing does make it super convenient if you're a YouTube streamer or a Kick streamer or any kind of other streamer outside of Twitch, where you will have an actual URL for people and viewers to go to then use so you can receive global coin revenue. And then when it comes to the actual payout threshold for CrowdControl, well, with CrowdControl, kind of similar to Twitch, you need to have a $50 threshold. So you'll see here, I actually made $61.96. I just actually haven't even bothered going through with it yet because I'm not expecting this kind of income on my stream. The only kind of income I ever expect is through Twitch directly. So this is almost kind of like a nice little nugget for me to look back on and then go through the onboarding process and get paid out accordingly. But you'll see here, since September 1st, I think I had maybe 3 streams that I was using CrowdControl on. So during those 3 streams, I made $12.96 through global coin revenue. Again, not Twitch revenue through bits, because that's separate. So that's why there's a different threshold. All right, so that explains the component part of it. Again, I use the Prime Gaming and the CrowdControl component when it comes to that Twitch extension. Now you get down into the panels. Again, you have up to 3 panels that you can use for Twitch extensions. Very simply put, you saw I use one as my merch store through Streamlabs. If you have a Stream Elements one, you can do it that way. Again, those payouts are specific through whatever merch store you have. Personally, I have all of my merch set at cost, so I never make a dime on any merch I sell, but that's just because, again, I don't care about my merch making me any money because that's not my concern and that's not my big over-the-top thought process. It's all about the entertainment that I provide on stream live for any kind of support. I do have an extension called TimeoutWithBits. Don't use this extension if you are a family-friendly stream or if you are a stream where everyone is holding each other's hands and singing Kumbaya. Essentially, TimeoutWithBits is kind of a very toxic extension to have. It's exactly what it says, and it allows a viewer to time some other viewer out for X amount of time based upon how many bits they give you, the streamer. Very toxic, not very demure, not very mindful. So you'll see here I have, when you set up this kind of extension, I have it set up where there's 6 different options to time people out at, ranging anywhere from 1 to 1800 seconds, and you can have the bit amount go all the way up to like 10,000 bits, something crazy like that. But this is just another one of those things. But where can you find this? And let me point out too then, in tandem with that, the one down here is called Viewer Attack, which is also an extension down in the About Me section because it's a panel that viewers can actually send in bits to like throw stuff up on your screen, right? So it's a viewer attack. They might throw like a tomato at you or put a bunch of like loud air horns that like pop up next to you on screen based upon this. And just like with Viewer Attack, if you go into the extension configuration through Twitch, you can actually set it up accordingly, okay? Now, where can you find these as a viewer? From a viewer's point of view, if you are watching any stream on desktop, and if you are a streamer and you set those down to the panels, if you scroll down, here are where those extensions are located, right? You can move them around and everything because you see I have my Streamlabs merch one down here, but you can see here TimeoutWithBits is right here, and the viewer attack is right here. So this is how it looks to the viewer. Additionally, these are kind of silly because you could always look at like leaderboards when it comes to timing people out with bits, see who's been the most kind of toxic to a degree, right? But it also tells you how many bits they've spent to time other viewers out. On the viewer attack thing, same kind of concept. It has a little analytics button that you can click and see how many bits were sent by whom in the whole entire viewer attack process. Again, this is in panels down below. So it's important to note that these two extensions, for example, are only done through Twitch. They have their own website, but there's no additional revenue stream with these two type of extensions. The same kind of thing goes for sound alerts, as I mentioned, where anything happening on sound alerts is actually going through the extension itself, which carries over into your actual Twitch revenue. So you might be wondering, well, how do you know how much money you've actually made when it comes to these kind of extensions? So if you click on any of these extension configurations, like for viewer attack, you'll see here, right, there's actually already a tab that says revenue, and it'll tell you right here how much revenue you made per stream. My viewer attack, I've only used one time. It's my most recent component that I've added into the mix. So you'll see here on September 27th, I made $15.16 just through people throwing stuff at me on screen. But again, you can also make this a free extension, and you can have it integrated with your channel points as kind of shown here too, as a reward through your Twitch chat. Personal preference, all up to you. So again, $15.16, but that goes into Twitch revenue. That is not a separate standalone like the CrowdControl or Blerp. This goes right into Twitch. So there's no extra thinking of, oh, here's another revenue stream. So that $15.16 goes into the total earnings from that stream that you'll find on your analytics tab on the creator dashboard in Twitch. Now, unfortunately, for certain extensions, it's not going to give you an actual revenue like source. You just more or less have to find that through the extensions category on your stream's analytics. So on this TimeoutWithBits extension, for example, you can see there are no settings where it shows you the revenue that you made through this app specifically. You would have to simply kind of go back to your actual panel and, in a sense, check out the leaderboards and kind of add those up accordingly to kind of get a range of how much you made through that specific extension. Or you can do a long-handed version and go to your creator dashboard, analytics, go to the revenue for that stream of whatever it was, and you'll see it tells you extensions. And you just have to kind of do the math of, okay, was it through viewer attack? Was it through sound alerts? Kind of might have to do some subtraction. But again, that's overthinking it, in my opinion. Just let it go, but you can see kind of where it is here. But again, it's not going to make a difference because these get paid through Twitch. Twitch specific. This is not a separate revenue stream. But to be completely transparent with you guys, I can actually show you too, where can you find how much money you might have made through extensions on your stream. It's very simple. When you go to your analytics overview, for example, I'm just showcasing what I've done in September this month. You can actually click on the revenue, find the revenue tab and click that. And then when you do that, you want to come down and you can hover over each one of these graphs where you did a stream to look where that revenue came from. So for example, you will see on September 5th, Thursday, I made $107, but of those $107, you'll see it actually says $98 in extensions. That means the $98 came from, my guess is most likely CrowdControl in this instance, but it could be CrowdControl, sound alerts, Blerp, TimeoutWithBits, or viewer attack. Well, it couldn't have been viewer attack because I just added that. But you get what I'm saying. Those extensions are pooled together to make up for how much money was made on that stream, which then carries over into how much money did you make as a Twitch affiliate, and does it meet the threshold? So you'll see here, in this instance, I made the threshold just in this one stream thanks to the Twitch extensions. But again, remember, even though it shows I have made $98 on extensions that day, that doesn't mean there wasn't additional monies being made through CrowdControl with the global coin like we mentioned, or through Blerp, where someone might have actually spent money through the website specifically off of my stream. And so that's why I have that little balance sitting over there as well. But hopefully this kind of gave you a better idea and a better sense of how extensions can be used, what extensions should maybe you try out, and then how you get paid through those extensions. And if you did enjoy this bit of education on the Twitch extensions, please be sure to hit the thumbs up, plus the subscription button and the notification bell so you know when yours truly posts another video again in the future. And until next time, stay safe, be healthy, keep streaming. We'll see you on the next one.